Hello, what's up my YouTube nation? It's Legendary Justin. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. So the video we are doing today is it's a new video series we're going to start up. It's called like Daily Talk Show with Legendary Justin, something like that. And the first thing we're going to talk about is GameStop article about the Nintendo Switch being stolen. So here we go. I've already read all the articles before time just so I know about the article. And then I'm going to talk about like how I feel about what happened, and I'm going to explain like to you guys what happened, stuff like that, so you guys know all the news. Every day I'll be trying to do this. Hopefully I can do like five or more articles a day, like read that much, or at least post 1 to 2 a day. But here we go. So early Nintendo Switch systems stolen and illegally resold, Nintendo says. The people responsible are looking at potential criminal charges apparently. Alright, so earlier this week, the first unboxing video for the Nintendo Switch appeared online weeks before the hybrid console is due to launch. Now Nintendo has confirmed that some of the Nintendo Switch systems that have appeared in the wild were stolen from a US distributor partner. When I was reading this, I was wondering what they meant by the wild. They just meant like kind of out in the market and like, being sold kind of early and stuff like that. That's what they meant by wild. You can figure that out later. And I guess this is a picture of Nintendo Switch. So it's a console by Nintendo. It's basically going to be like kind of like a PlayStation where you can like hold in your hand, but also like kind of like I guess like a Nintendo Wii or something, like one of those, except it's not going to be with a controller. It's going to be like a console basically. The thing about it, I know the specs on the Nintendo Switch, and it's not full 1080p. It's more like half between 720 and 1080. So it's not even full HD quality. And there's only going to be a few games playing on it, so don't even waste your time buying the Nintendo Switch at all. Instead, I would recommend buying the PS4 original or an Xbox One. If you already have those, I would recommend waiting for the PS5 or perhaps the Scorpio, which will be really, really good consoles. So in a statement to IGN, Nintendo said the people responsible have been fired and are currently being looked into by law enforcement groups. Here's the full statement. Earlier this week, individuals claimed to prematurely purchase a small number of Nintendo Switch systems from an unspecified retailer. Nintendo has determined these units were stolen in an isolated incident by employees of a U.S. distributor, with one system being illegally resold. The individuals involved have been identified, terminated from their place of employment, and are under investigation by local law enforcement authorities on criminal charges. Nintendo Switch will launch worldwide on March 3rd, 2017, and we look forward to everyone being able to discover the wonders of the new system for themselves at that time. In other news, it was recently discovered that the Nintendo Switch will tie digital purchases to an account, not a specific piece of hardware, which sounds like very good news. I do agree with that actually. The Nintendo Switch launches on March 3rd, priced at $300. For more on the system, check out all of GameStop's previous written coverage and videos here. They basically, some of the people that from a distributor, some other people from the retailer, they stole some of the Nintendo Switches, and they were trying to sell them for above market value, so maybe like $500-$600, maybe even $1,000, because the Nintendo Switch is not even out. The thing about getting something early is, like some of the professional YouTubers with like millions of subscribers, they can get stuff early anyways. So for them, it's kind of not fair that they can actually get stuff super early. It should be kind of more like randomized versus just being super famous. Same thing for movies. Celebrities get to see movies months and months and months before the movie comes out. That's also how they do reviews on the movies. They kind of know like how the movie is before you actually watch the movie. Also, I wanted to tell you guys about this video. So I'm recording this on my 4K, my 49-inch 4K Toshiba TV, which is done by an HDMI cord to my new gaming laptop. And I want to know if you guys like the video quality more on this. I think the video quality should be better. I might do a comparison video where I have, an image of this exact article, or maybe a different one, and then the 4K image that are all done through the video editing software. I could do, a comparison through Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2017 and Camtasia, so that I'll know like if the video quality is any better or not. I think it will be, but the easiest way to tell is like if maybe even 480p starts looking like it's kind of like HD quality, or like 720 is more like 1080 and 1080 is just more like 2K or 4K like that, stuff like that. If the pixel density looks better, that's the way to know if the video will look better. So let's move on to the second article. So the second article is from the Huffington Post. Also, one thing to note is we're going to be doing this talk show like every day or every few days. I'll be doing articles and I'll be uploading every single day on YouTube. One thing about that though is on Tuesdays and Thursdays I've got college. So on those days I'm not going to be uploading, or I will be uploading very little on those days. I might just public a video. Because I usually do is I private the video and then upload it publicly when I want to, whenever time. I usually try to do in the morning or afternoon or evening, but not in the middle of the night, because I think you'd get more views. So yeah, basically I look up the top most popular news things on Google, and these are what the articles are. So the first one was Nintendo Switch. The second one is about the Huffington Post about the Republican Party. So let's do this article. So how the Republican Party's sense of security could lead to its demise. The only reasonable explanation for this surrender of Republican principles is that the Republican Party feels secure in its power. This article by the Huffington Post is definitely Democratic and liberal. You guys will easily be able to tell by their language, and their bias. Their bias on this article is beyond terrible. You can tell that they hate Republicans. But here we go. Actually, this is a good picture of Paul Ryan. And alright, so as a moderate millennial party affiliation, I have tried to combat the sky is falling rhetoric of my frantic liberal peers, seeking to resist the normalization of President Trump. You can tell this guy's liberal because he says his peers are liberal too. This guy is an asshole because he's definitely biased. And Huffington Post, you can suck a dick. Alright, normalization of President Trump. I thought reasoned that our system was structured in such a way to check the ambitions of a demigod like Trump. He's calling him a demigod. And that the checks and the balances on the presidency would prove too powerful for Trump to do real damage. Congress would never get on board with this. Even the Republican state houses would reject that, or Paul Ryan couldn't possibly allow this. I would confidently tell myself over and over again as Trump signed one absurd executive order after the other. Let me show you guys who actually wrote this article so you guys can blast him if you want to. His name is Zachary Stepp. He's a contributor from First Generation College at the University of Chicago, pursuing a degree in political science. Alright, everyone spam this guy with some dislikes. Spam him with negative feedback on this article. Tell him that he needs to get this liberal bullshit out of this fucking article and off of the Huffington Post website. Alright, so, well, it turns out I, like many other optimistic analysts, was dead wrong. The Republican Party has almost unanimously embraced the unpopular demigod as the face of their party, promoting the question why. Ultimately, it comes down to the fact that Republicans have a secure grip on power for the foreseeable future, and that the party is more concerned about alienating Trump's fan base than building a party that will be successful in the future. So when I was reading this, basically what he's saying is he thinks that the Republican Party is kind of worried and they don't want to piss off, Trump supporters, and that's why they're just worrying about oh, we got to help out Trump's fan base. Well, fuck you, bitch, you're wrong. It's not true. The Republicans are doing what they want, and they don't have to listen to the Democrats right now. The implications of this reality are just now starting to become obvious, as the Republican-controlled Congress refuses to challenge the White House. Just today, Representative Jason Chaffetz, representative from Utah, chair of the House Oversight Committee, announced that he would not be investigating Michael Flynn, whose resignation has stirred up spurs of questions regarding ethics violations. Some have even accused him, the short-lived National Security Advisor, of treason. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous as hell. Further evidence is found in the embrace of blatantly unqualified candidates nominated to cabinet positions, including Betsy DeVos, who was confirmed despite butchering her nomination hearing, and Rick Perry, who now heads the department he once proposed abolishing when running for president in 2012. Republicans could easily have demanded that qualified conservatives be nominated to hold these posts. Instead, they were silent. The author of this article just doesn't like these people. He's just a hater of Republicans. you can tell this guy is bullshit. And that's why he's saying all these stupid things. Perhaps even more troubling than the cabinet selections is the party's embrace of Trump's controversial executive orders, namely the Trump travel ban, ruled unconstitutional in the courts. I don't believe it's unconstitutional. I think that it's actually legal and constitutional because, the United States has wars against other countries and other certain type of people sometimes, and sometimes things need to be done. So, for example, when we had a war with the Spanish-American War, or when we had, a war with this country or that country, we basically blocked them. Like, we also did that with some of the Asians from, back in the 20th century. We banned them for, we put them in concentration camps and stuff like that, in the past, and, stuff like that's happened in the past with the Indians and stuff like that. The U.S. is known for doing that kind of stuff. So just because Trump wants to do it with Muslims from these specific countries, he can do whatever he wants to. Also, it's been proven that some of these Muslim terrorists, from Muslim countries, are actually terrorists. They have been proven that, yes, because they're a Muslim and they're Islamic and they're radical, they are a terrorist. So we need to know exactly who we are bringing into our country. So, things will get better over time, but we just need to figure it out. So perhaps even more troubling than the cabinet selections is the party's embrace of Trump's controversial executive orders, namely the Trump travel ban, ruled unconstitutional in the courts. Paul Ryan publicly supported the ban despite his condemnation during the 2016 presidential campaign, previously reasoning, "I do not think it's reflective of our principles, not just as a party, but as a country." Unless Paul Ryan's principles magically changed overnight, perhaps due to the Bowling Green massacre, I don't even know what he's talking about by that, clearly the political ambitions of the Republican Party have drastically changed. There are no longer resisting the bigotry. Instead, they are embracing it for a short-term political gain. That is not true. The only reasonable explanation for this flip-flop and surrender of the Republican principles is that the Republican Party is secure in its hold on power. The grim political reality is that Democrats are defending 25 of the 33 Senate seats up for re-election in the 2018 midterms. 10 of these seats are in swing states that Trump carried in 2016, opening the door for Republicans to win a filibuster-proof majority. On top of that, due to the structural advantages for Republicans brought about with voter ID laws and redistricting, Democrats would need a miracle to take back the White House. As a result, the Republicans do not need to cater to public opinion until 2020, which is a lifetime in politics. I wrote in a previous piece during the election cycle that I believe the Republican Party, by nominating and supporting Donald Trump, was no longer a partner in the pursuit of creating a more just society. This has been proven all too real with the party's embrace of now President Trump. The party's shallow, nationalistic agenda is not sustainable. Policies like building a wall on the Mexican border will bear little fruit if ever accomplished. Yeah, simpleton, that's what you fucking think, bitch. Go fuck off. It's not true. The border will help us because it'll stop drugs, it'll stop immigrants, it'll stop money laundering, it'll stop a lot of stuff. Similarly, the repeal of Obamacare without a sustainable replacement will hurt people and alienate voters. In the end, I still believe that Donald Trump will never be able to make America great again in the way that he promised his voters. Well, you don't believe in his way anyways, bitch, so shut up. Once the Trump era inevitably closes, the Republican Party could be in ruins for a generation. Young voters who are the most vocal opponents of Trump are only going to be more alienated by the Republican Party if they continue supporting his policies. That is absolutely not true. I'm a young Republican, and other Republicans do not alienate me in any way. They support me, and I've been in rallies with other older Republicans, and they don't mind me at all, so that's not true. The only chance the Republicans have in the long term is to hold Trump accountable, challenge his unreasonable policy objectives, and reclaim the Republican principles that used to attract broad segments of the population. Nevertheless, the Republican establishment clearly needs some convincing. The Women's March spontaneous protests in airports across the country in response to the travel ban are an inspiring start. But more work is to be done if Republicans are to be convinced to switch the course. The Republicans must fear losing Congress in 2018 or be forced to think more about what is in the long-term interest of the party. If not, Congress will continue to cater to the Trump base instead of the majority of Americans who did not vote for him. So let's talk about this paragraph. He's talking about the protest about the airports and all that kind of bullshit. Casey Neistat did a video on that. I also do not like Casey Neistat. He makes terrible videos about Donald Trump for no reason at all. He has no reason why, too. He's just an idiot. Also, CNN basically gave him special privileges and honors and to be able to go to the inauguration. He just wasted it. If you guys watch his video on that, he just wasted it. There's millions of Americans that want to see Donald Trump up close. Casey Neistat gets a pass. He wears it around his neck, but then doesn't even go to the inauguration. What an asshole. Anyways, we're talking about the sentence right here. Instead of the majority of Americans who did not vote for him. So yeah, Hillary Clinton only got 1% more votes, or less than, it's either about 1% or less than 1% of votes. I'll have to do the math on that and figure it out. But the Electoral College, he won by 14%. So you got wrecked, bitch. Hillary Clinton, you got wrecked by 14% Electoral College. Also, California is super liberal. That's why Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Also, the majority of Americans, that's not true because we only had 30 to 40% of Americans vote. Not even close to 70 to 80% of the Americans voted. So not the majority at all. She only beat him by 1% popular vote, and the media was always against him. Also, the current president, which was Obama back then, which is now the past president, Obama, he was on her side. And then fucking Bernie Sanders was also on Hillary Clinton's side, which means he's a sellout. If I was Bernie Sanders and I was a Democrat, I'd say, fuck no, Hillary Clinton. I'm not going to join your side. I'm just going to wait for the next election, or I'm going to try to win at this one. But no, you were a sellout. You got paid off, basically, and then you basically said, vote for Hillary Clinton. Easy as that. So wrong. It's not the majority of Americans that are against him. Americans dissatisfied with President Trump must continue demanding accountability from Republican representatives and senators by attending town halls, calling district offices, posting on social media, and encouraging others to do the same. New organizational efforts such as Swing Left have potential to mobilize the outrage surrounding Trump into tangible election results in 2018 and to convince Republicans to change course. But they will only bear fruit if people continue to stay engaged. So yeah, that's what I basically feel. I hate this article. I think it's garbage. I think it's complete trash. This guy right here, his name is Zachary Stepp. There's a picture of him over here. Maybe I'll do a close-up on this guy later, but yeah, this guy really does suck. He's definitely a liberal, and he does suck. And that's why the Huffington Post likes him. Let's see, is there any comments of his article? No, you can't even see any comments about his article at all. Alright, so thank you for watching the first episode of Daily Talk Show with Legendary Justin. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Also, make sure to subscribe to my new Patreon. If you guys could donate a few dollars every month, it would really, really help me out because I'm trying to do good for you guys on YouTube and provide the highest quality videos for you guys. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and peace.